Week number 4, district play getting underway as West Branch hosts North Cedar this coming Friday, September the 18th. And Jason, it's going to be a big night, a lot going on. You got the Cedar County rivalry, you have the district opener, you have the Bears back after a great come-from-behind win, and then it's also Veterans Night. A lot of fanfare going on around that. So great opportunity to come out and see some great things going on at Oliphant Street Field.
Well, first things first, let's focus on the Veterans Military Appreciation Night on Friday. You know, it's great to be able to play football games on Friday night. You had the opportunity to, Matt had the opportunity to, I did. Hundreds and upon thousands of people have. And it's because of sacrifices of the men and women. I mean, even in a small way, the appreciation that we're going to hopefully show them for just one night on Friday will wear off for the rest each and every day. I mean, for all the sacrifices they offer for us, it allows us to be able to do things what we're doing right now, protect our freedoms. So we thank them for that.
Well, of course, a big thank you, of course, to Dave and Kathy McElrath. They're the ones that kind of spearheaded this. A lot of fundraising. The jerseys, red with the camouflage numbers, they just look amazing. They're hanging downtown West Branch for people to see. And then a lot of the other festivities. I mean, it seems like we're going to have a lot of flags around, great national anthem, a few other surprises for folks. So, I mean, to me, that just seems like an exciting thing that just adds to what West Branch football is all about.
And if we're just focusing on football, I think we're missing the bigger point of, it's great. We're getting a win and having that time every week, once or every other week this year, as it were, at the Oliphant Street Field, to come together and play a football game or cheer for your friend or your son, your daughter, or whatever. But the greater good is it's a community thing, and there's no community without the sacrifices, again, that these men and women make. And you mentioned Dave and Kathy McElrath. The red jerseys, Dave went out and raised money, private funds. We had some people, wonderfully generous people to make that happen. The best thing about it, red jerseys are back. It's been a couple years, but red, so no Back in Black Friday. No, I'm just kidding. We'll play it. But red jerseys are back, and it's kind of cool. But anyway.
Well, and then, of course, like we said, district opener. So that in and of itself is important because, these first 3 games count for what the record is. It's really important to get wins and get some things built. But once you get into that district season, that's when things really start to take shape because everybody starts at 0-0. Now you've got an opportunity to do things to qualify yourself for the playoff. Top 4 in the district make it into the postseason. And so this is basically a brand new season, although North Cedar actually started theirs last week. They're 0-1, dropping to Alburnett in a very close game with the team that's probably one of the top favorites to win the division or win the district this year.
And if you look at North Cedar. They haven't won a game yet. They're 0-3. But look at how they've progressed. The first week they lose 22-0 to Anamosa. That game was called in the third quarter. They decided, the schools, not to replay that game. It could have been worse, and that's not the point. You go to the second game playing Lisbon, who West Branch beat in the first week, losing 24-17. Get a little bit closer. And then last week playing against an undefeated team, a team that's arguably one of the 10, 15 top teams in Class 1A, and play them to a 32-27 game. Statistically speaking, from the first game to the second game, putting those 2 games together, and then take the third game by itself, they doubled their stats in just one game. So they are starting to ramp up. West Branch obviously ramped up last week, winning 38-17 on the road against a top 5 opponent in Class 2A. So both of these teams are working up. So you mentioned it, the North Cedar versus West Cedar rivalry, and just a lot of things. And they've had some really good battles through the years. Hopefully, the Bears can come out on top again. And it's weird that North Cedar actually has to come to West Branch. They're not used to that. No, I'm just kidding. But it is what it is. But both teams are ramping up, and that's a good thing. And I think, no one should take them lightly just because the Knights have not won a game yet.
Well, and you look, they've got some talent. I mean, they've got Nalaby, obviously. I mean, he was one of the top receivers in the entire state last year. He's very athletic, tall. He can make plays. He can go get the football. Quarterback, very mobile. He's got a pretty good arm on him. They're getting some offensive linemen back that have missed little bit of time here in the early going. And so, they've got some different weapons that can do some things. And like we've seen a lot from them, they'll do a lot with the jet sweeps, a lot of motion. So it's going to be key for the ends, the backside linebackers to really read your keys, stay home, make sure that you get to the football wherever it is, not falling for whatever the motion is or the fakes that they're doing.
You mentioned the quarterback, Jacob Holst, brand new quarterback, never played varsity before because Jaden Johnson, guy threw for about 76,000 yards last year, actually threw for just shy of 3,000. He's once in every 10, 15 years at a small school kind of kid that comes along. You don't get kids like that That kid could throw the ball. Jacob Hull steps in the first 2 games, has a little over, like 189 yards through first 2 games. Last week, I said they're ramping up. Statistically, they doubled up. He completed 13 passes for 186 yards, 148 of those yards were to Malaby, who in the first game was held to 50 yards in 2 games. Now he's ramping up. And then their leading running back, a kid named Shane Weber, sorry is his name, 82 yards the first 2 games, 86 last week against Al Burnett. And now they're getting guys that are going to start making the holes and giving the protection to the quarterback. They're going to get 2 or 3 of those guys up front back. They're ramping up. I keep saying that. And now they're getting stronger up front. This is a completely different team than what we've seen in the first week on the film and huddled than what we're going to see on Friday night.
Well, and it's a completely different West Branch team, though, too. I mean, you look at what we were able to do the tail end of the first half last week through that entire second half, and really just, I mean, we'll hear from Coach Peterson in our pregame Friday night on the Bearcast. You know, they went back to smash mouth football. The kids understood what it means to use your pads, to hit somebody, to do what it is to play football within the rules of the game, and they saw the benefits of that, saw the effects of it, and if they can keep doing those types of things, they know that good things are really going to start to happen for them this year.
Yeah, you saw it, Mike saw it, Jerry, everybody saw it, the effects of those hard hits, and even on the other side of that coin, the conditioning of West Branch. They stress, Coach Peterson and staff have always stressed conditioning and saying how they want to be the best conditioned team in the state of Iowa. When the fourth quarter comes around, they don't want to be breathing hard. The other team needs to be breathing hard, not us. And you could see some of those hits going across the middle. After a while, the Falcons were taking some of those hits, and they were. And it's no offense. It's just the way football works. When you're playing against a physical football team, maybe they hadn't seen the first 2 weeks, that can wear on a team. And West Branch has done that through the years. It's just one of those things. They play hard-nosed football. They're well conditioned. They're well coached, and usually attrition wears out with that conditioning and that hard hitting. And it's been pretty successful over the last 20, 25 years of that, and you've been a part of that too. So,
well, we look for that, see how that shapes up. Again, Friday night, 7 o'clock at the Little Rose Bowl. We recommend you get there a little bit early for some of the festivities for the veterans and some of the other surprises that we have going on. Of course, if you can't make it, go ahead and join us right here, westbranchfootball.com for the Bearcast. We'll talk to you Friday night.